All things Mavs.
Mavs fans, it's been a little while, but I'm back here on the All Things Mavs channel, and I'm going to ask a little bit of a favor of you guys. Help me get to 7,000 subscribers. We're at 6,801 right now. We are literally 199 away, and I need all your help to do it. I know I took a little bit of a break from the channel, but I promise we're going to come back with the daily Dallas Mavericks videos, and you're not going to want to miss a single one. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and now we'll get straight into today's video, starting off with Luka Doncic, the best player under 25 years old. So here's what happened. Hoops Hype took a poll, and they took talent evaluators around the NBA, which included NBA executives and NBA scouts, of guys that they would like to build around that are under 25. And how they did it was they ranked their players under 25 years old from 1 to 5. And if they are ranked number 1, they got the most points possible. And then ranked 2, they get 4 points, 3 points. You get it, so on and so forth. Luka Doncic was unanimously voted by those talent scouts as the number 1 player. Now, here's the most remarkable thing about Luka Doncic being under 25 years old. The dude doesn't turn 25 years old until the 2024-2025 season. This kid has a long way to go, and he's already accomplished so much at 21 years old. So the Dallas Mavericks are in really good hands. Now, I do want to show you the other top 5 players that they voted on in this poll. And of course, you keep Luka at number 1. Jayson Tatum was right behind him. He got 64% of the possible votes at 22 years old. Devin Booker was right behind Jayson Tatum, followed by Ja Morant, and then Bam Adebayo coming in at number 5. Now, if you ask me, a little bit of recency bias here with Bam Adebayo at 5 because I believe Karl-Anthony Towns is better than Bam. I also would rather have Zion Williamson over Bam Adebayo going forward, but this is what the NBA talent scouts decided. Now, you look at the top 2. And the top 2 wasn't really close. It was Luka by a pretty wide margin, and then Jayson Tatum behind him, and then the rest of the pack. Now, Luka this past year averaged 29 points per game, 9 boards, 9 assists, nearly a triple-double, and he did it all very efficiently with a 27.7 player efficiency rating. Jayson Tatum, 23 points per game, 7 rebounds. He's a better defender than Luka Doncic, absolutely, and he is a more consistent three-point shooter at 40%. But he's a little bit less efficient at 20.5. And I'll tell you this, Jayson Tatum's been great in the playoffs. He has carried Boston all the way to the conference finals, but he has a better team around him than Luka does. Luka in the playoffs was special. 31 points per game, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, over 36% from beyond the three-point arc. And I love Jayson Tatum, but I don't think he will ever consistently put up the numbers anywhere close to what Luka Doncic does. So the scouts got it right. They had Luka at number 1. I think that is a very clear answer considering the fact that he's only 21 and he's already better than a lot of guys that are older than him and guys that are younger than him like Zion or Trae Young as well in there. But I'm going to go ahead and let you guys pick. Which one of these 3, or maybe you have another name under 25 years old, would you like to build your team around? You can type DB for Devin Booker. You can type JT for Jayson Tatum. You can comment another player, or you can be correct and type LD for Luka Doncic. So I should see a lot of LDs in the comment section down below. What I'm going to do after I upload this video and you guys interact in the comment section, I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you guys your applause that you deserve if you type LD for Luka Doncic. If you type someone else, I am going to put you on blast on my next video. Now, one thing that's really important right now is that you're staying safe and you're staying healthy. And the best way to do that is by getting a face mask where you can protect yourself, and you can also rep your favorite team. You go to chatsports.com/Mavs mask. You can get 1, packs of 2, packs of 3, or even packs of 4 if you want to share them with your loved ones. Guys, look, I got mine right here. I promise it's a great deal. I got mine from Fanatics. Best thing about this, you can throw it in the wash after you're done with it for the day. Go to chatsports.com/Mavs mask. Pick up your face coverings today. I promise you won't regret it. It's a real easy way to rep your team and stay safe and healthy. Now let's dive into some Dallas Mavericks trade rumors, starting off with Frank Ntilikina of the New York Knicks. He has been talked about coming to the Dallas Mavericks ever since he entered his name in the draft in 2017. But now Bleacher Report is saying the Mavs should target him via trade because it might actually make some sense to get a playmaking and defensive-minded guard in Frank Ntilikina in a trade. Now, I actually like this idea because the dude is still very, very young. Remember, back in 2017, the Dallas Mavericks were quote-unquote interested in him, although many believe that that was just a smokescreen to land them Dennis Smith Jr. But the Knicks took him at 8, and the Mavs drafted at 9. So even if they did want him, they didn't have the chance. But now Bleacher Report is saying Mavs can go get him by just simply trading 2 things. Number 1, Justin Jackson, and number 2, the 31st overall pick from the Golden State Warriors. Let's break this trade down a little bit. Justin Jackson, now you guys know me, and I know you loyal watchers know that I am the founding father of Justin Jackson Island. Well, I've jumped off of that island, and maybe I'll jump onto the Frank Ntilikina Island. And then also the pick, the second round pick from the Golden State Warriors, that's a pretty high second round pick. That's the number 1 pick in the second round. So if you can make it happen, I say you make it happen if you're the Mavs. You're trading Justin Jackson, who put up 5 points per game, pulled down 2 rebounds, didn't pass the ball well, not a good three-point shooter, and inefficient. And you're trading him for, yes, a project player in Frank Ntilikina, but a better scorer, pretty equally as good of a rebounder at the guard position, a much better playmaker and passer, and even a slightly better three-point shooter. So you get a guard, which actually helps you with what you need, and you dump off Justin Jackson. Now, you look at the guard situation for the Mavs right now. Of course, you have Luka Doncic. He's there for the long haul. No need to worry about him. Jalen Brunson is still under contract for the next 4 years at $6.1 million. Delon Wright is under contract for 3 years, $28 million. We'll talk about him later on in the show. But then you got Trey Burke and JJ Barea, who are both hitting the open market. And it kind of becomes a big question mark of, well, who's going to be a playmaker? Brunson's great, and Delon Wright was supposed to be good, but he was kind of a bust. Trey Burke is a free agent. Some team's going to pay him some money. And JJ Barea might end up just being a coach in Dallas. So maybe it makes some sense to get rid of Justin Jackson and maybe trade away that second round pick in order to get Frank Ntilikina. Now, the Mavs don't have a lot of firepower when it comes to the trade market. Yeah, they've got some good names to trade, like Justin Jackson might make some sense, that first round pick or the second round pick, maybe even a guy like Maxi Kleber or Tim Hardaway Jr. if he opts into that contract. But who should the Mavs target in a trade this offseason? I always want to say trade this summer, but it's not going to be the summer by the time the offseason rolls around. Who do you want to see the Mavs trade for? You can throw me your wildest ideas, whoever it may be. Put it in the comment section down below. You guys know I love to look at those. I'll even run them for the trade machine, through the trade machine for you, so that we can talk about it a little bit more on the All Things Mavs channel. Now, I told you we were going to talk about Delon Wright, and we are going to talk about him because this dude is on the trading block. The Athletic said the Mavs are likely looking to trade Delon Wright this offseason. And, you know, he signed last summer for a pretty decent deal at the time, but he completely fell out of the rotation. In fact, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist was getting Delon Wright's minutes in playoff crunch time. And in all honesty, Delon Wright's contract should be easy to trade, and we'll break down just why here in a minute. But let's look at his numbers because it was not that pretty. Sure, 7 points per game, 4 boards, 3 assists, 37% from 3. Doesn't look that bad, but he wasn't playing consistent minutes. He wasn't a consistent defender. If he got to the rim, he looked to pass out. And if you're paying a guy $28 million, yeah, it's a nice number, but I don't want him scoring just 6.9 points per game. It just doesn't make sense to me. Now, here's what The Athletic had to say about Delon Wright and about a potential trade from the Dallas Mavericks. They said, I think there's a real chance Delon Wright is traded this offseason. He's on a declining scale contract, which will pay him $9 million for the upcoming season and $8.5 million in the one after that. You could package him with the first round pick for a better fitting rotation player, probably. And you know what? It makes some sense. And if you want to trade that 18th pick, I get it because, you know, the talent is really, really solid there. And some team is going to be calling and saying, hey, we want whoever's available at 18 instead of this rotation player. Now, there's a guy like Aaron Nesmith, who's a sharpshooter out of Vanderbilt, but he dealt with some injuries in college. Sadiq Bey would be my dream get for the Dallas Mavericks, but I think he'll get chosen a little bit above the 18th overall pick. Josh Green is the guy that I most recently had mocked to the Dallas Mavericks at 18 overall, a great athlete and a pretty good defender out of Arizona. RJ Hampton, a DFW native, but a bit of a project, a guard out of the NBL. And then if you want to go with a big man, Precious Achiuwa out of Memphis, high energy, a bit raw, but would be a lot of fun on this Mavericks team. Could be available at 18 as well. But it's all about packaging that 18th pick with Delon Wright in order to get an established player. Because you're not going to get an established player for just a draft pick. So should the Mavs trade Delon Wright? Yes, or no. You guys get to make the call. And in all honesty, I'm ready to wave goodbye to Delon Wright. The experiment didn't really work out. Kind of thought he would be the Patrick Beverley type on this team. Wasn't anywhere close to that. Didn't shoot the ball as well as I would have liked him to. Was very passive on the offensive end. I'm okay if he gets traded. Even if it's for, an end-of-the-bench guy or a late first-round pick, I'm fine with it. Just get him off the books and let's get something new here in Dallas. Now, speaking of being here in Dallas, it is required that you wear a mask anytime you go out in public. So go get a Dallas Mavericks one. Go to chatsports.com/Mavs mask. It's the last time I'm going to tell you about it here on this show. So make sure you open up that tab, you type it into your browser, and you go pick up your mask today. 1, 2, packs of 3, or packs of 4, all available with our friends over at Fanatics. I got one more story for you here on the All Things Mavs channel, and it is all around Montrezl Harrell, who was public enemy, I guess, number 2, because we all know Marcus Morris was public enemy number 1 during the playoffs. But according to Sam Amico, the Mavs, or Amico, I can never remember how to pronounce his name, the Mavs are one of 3 teams set to show interest in Montrezl Harrell. The other 2 teams, the Toronto Raptors and the New York Knicks. Now, Montrezl Harrell is in for a major pay raise this offseason. He made $6 million this past season. I expect him to get close to $20 million. Someone might even pay him the max this offseason, which would be nuts. But he's going to get paid a lot of money. Now, the Mavs, of course, would need to clear cap space to be able to sign Montrezl Harrell. If Tim Hardaway Jr. opts into his contract, that's $19 million on the books. And really all you have left is the mid-level exception. So they'd have to clear some money. But if Montrezl Harrell wants to play here, I think they'd be able to do it. Now, here's what Amico, or Amico, had to say on Montrezl Harrell. He said the Toronto Raptors, Dallas Mavericks, and the New York Knicks are expected to have interest, though none could come close to signing him at the moment. Now, what he means by that is that none of those teams have the money to make it work at the moment. But we all know when it comes to free agency and it comes to the trade block, teams will move money around to make a signing happen. And we know Mark Cuban and Donnie Nelson will do whatever it takes to get a guy who wants to play in Dallas in a Dallas Mavericks jersey. So I'm not worried about that. If Trez wants to play in Dallas, the Mavs are going to make it happen. And we'll talk about more why here in just a second. But before I get to that, I want you guys to put your GM and owner hat on. Or I guess, what do they call it now? Your GM and the governor hat. You're not allowed to say owner in the NBA anymore. Who is your ideal free agent addition for the Dallas Mavericks? You guys get to choose. Free agent market's a little dry this offseason, but it's going to be fun regardless. Who is your ideal pickup? Let me know in the comment section below. Let's turn our attention to Montrezl Harrell. 19 points per game, 7 rebounds, shot better than 58% from the field, this offseason. And we all know he's a high energy motor guy that would come in and kind of be that bad boy type that the Dallas Mavericks are missing. And yeah, we hated him when he was on the Clippers, but he's one of those guys where you would love him if he's on your team. And I would love him if he was on the Dallas Mavericks. He brings in the toughness that the Mavs are missing. He brings in the rebounding that the Mavs are missing. And no, he's not a good shooter at all, but he's a good scorer down low. So your new starting 5 could look something like this. You go Luka at the point, Tim at the 2, Dorian Finney-Smith at the 3, and you go big with Trez and Kristaps Porzingis in the middle. Montrezl Harrell's not a great defender, but he's a gritty defender. And then that bolsters your bench a little bit as well, because now you have Jalen Brunson and Seth Curry coming off the bench, one great playmaking guard, one a great three-point shooter. I have Justin Jackson slotted in there, but I think that'll be more of a free agent /trade/draft addition at the wing position. And then Maxi Kleber and Dwight Powell can come off the bench together and wreak havoc on opposing benches' front courts. I love the idea of adding Montrezl Harrell to this team. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. I don't think Montrezl Harrell loves the idea of playing in Dallas. I don't think he's a big fan of what the Mavs are doing. I don't think the Mavs are really keen on that personal relationship with Montrezl Harrell either. But if he wants to play here, and if the Mavs can open up the cap space, by all means, Montrezl Harrell, put that Dallas Mavericks uniform on. We will welcome you with open arms. Mavs fans, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.